All right. Okay, so we are discussing. Okay, so anyway, so let's get right to. Okay, so the thing that was. Okay, so according to the rule book here, it says the greenhouse may be modified to accommodate a windshield wiper motor where required. These modifications will be permitted for all racetracks. The greenhouse modification must confirm the following drawn. So basically, put in layman's terms, it's a windshield wiper motor, it looks like. And then in the truck series, the teams of Nick Sanchez, Chase Purdy, and Jack Wood were penalized for engine reserve oil tank regimen, engine oil reserve tank, and assemble vehicle overall rules. And both teams are penalized 10 driver and owners points. And then for Hendrick, crew chiefs Brian Campy and Greg Ives were fined $75,000 and suspended for 2 NASCAR Cup Series Championship points events beginning April 13th after Bristol. The teams are also assessed a loss of 60 points and 5 NASCAR playoff points. So that is the penalties. And this is after they were taken to the R&D Center for William Byron and Alex Bowman. So that's basically what the greenhouse penalty is. Also, something cool, race day is being revived. That was something I really, really loved. And it's going to bring back Kenny Wallace. And joining Wallace on stage will be a star-studded drivers, including Christopher Bell, Kyle Busch, Jonathan Davenport, Austin Dillon, Justin Haley, Kevin Harvick, Corey LaJoie, and Kyle Larson. And it will be treated the hilarious antics of Kenny Wallace. This is so cool. And it says the event brought to life at Bristol Motor Speedway by track officials, in part as a tribute to NASCAR's 75th anniversary. It will feature 2 of the most iconic personalities in Kenny Wallace and John Roberts. And then afterwards, they will be available for autographs. So kind of a neat thing. I like that they're doing that. It's kind of cool. Actually, it was my favorite pre-race show, I would say back in the early 2000s, late 2010s probably. And the penalty for Denny Hamlin has been upheld. The penalties are a loss of 25 driver points and $50,000 fine. So basically, his appeal was from when he basically admitted on his podcast he intentionally wrecked Ross Chastain. So kind of a oopsies there for Denny Hamlin. Also, this is the modification to the NASCAR rulebook. Says the appeals panel and final appeal officer may not completely remove any element of the originally assessed penalty provided in notice as defunct in the rulebook of Section 10, 5.2, detrimenting of penalties, modifications to a penalty are limited to the minimum and maximum ranges as listed in the rulebook. Therefore, NASCAR assessed the penalty that consisted of points reductions, monetary fines, and suspensions. All three elements of the original penalty must remain, but the amount of each element can be adjusted with the minimum and maximum penalty ranges. The impact of this change is to confine the appeals penalty or officers to the range that's set forth in the rulebook if there are any changes to NASCAR penalties in any way in their pre-defend range. Furthermore, NASCAR shall have the right to publish any decision of the final appeals officer, including with the limitation the names of the parties involved. So honestly, it's about time that NASCAR did this, because honestly, the appeals panel has been nothing but a joke as of pretty much since they started doing third party. So yeah, it's been nothing but a joke. Also, David Starr set to return to the Xfinity Series. He said he could also run some cup races. He said he's also looking forward to getting the Cup Series running the next gen for the first time. And another, I thought it was going pretty well, but Cup team owners boycotted Wednesday's quarterly meeting with NASCAR officials, displeased with the status of revenue talks with the sanctioning body. I actually thought this was going really well, but apparently not. And Jim France actually wants to get rid of the charter system. Now, the other thing the team owners said is that they wish that like Lisa France Kennedy and Jim France would be involved in the talks, which honestly is a pretty good request, because I feel like they are not involved at all. They're not involved, and it's going nowhere. And it's possible that this could lead to a NASCAR strike. If negotiations don't go really well, you could see NASCAR, like every other sport, be on strike. The NHL has had it, the NBA, the NFL with the refs. So it's possible that this could lean that way if negotiations don't start coming through. Because the current TV contract ends after the 2024 season. So yeah, this is not the way NASCAR should be going. And I don't blame the owners and drivers for saying that they should be more involved. And then RTCI Cool Outdoor becomes the official cooler and drinkware partner of NASCAR. So I do believe, okay, the Xfinity race, we'll review that. Oh, wait, sorry, I forgot. I did mention in the, okay, so the All-Star format has been announced. So let's do, the All-Star race will be 200 laps with the competition break around lap 100. All laps, caution and green flag will count. This is also the first NASCAR competition race since 1996 at North Wilkesboro. And then it says The All-Star Open featuring drivers eligibly not previously eligible for the All-Star race will be 100 laps with a competition break at around lap 40. 3 drivers will advance to the All-Star race, the top 2 finishers, and the fan vote. The 22 drivers already locked into the field will be split into 60 lap heat races Saturday night, which will determine the starting lineup. Heat 1 will establish the inside row. Results of Heat 2 will establish the outside row. This format has an old school feel to it. It's so like it should be a return for North Wilkesboro, said President and CEO Marcus Smith. Dale Jr. had some fantastic ideas and was fun to work alongside him with and NASCAR to pull this all together. I'm thankful for Dale's passion for this entire project, and I think we landed on something that both fans in the stands and those watching on television will absolutely love. We want everyone after the race to smile and say, "Wow, that was fun." The star of this year's All-Star race is the track, said NASCAR Hall of Famer and NBC Sports analyst Dale Earnhardt Jr. The history and the nostalgia of the surface just being back in North Wilkesboro. People have always wanted traditional racing back in North Wilkesboro for decades. Drivers who already have clinched an all-star spot are Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, Chase Briscoe, Chris Buescher, Kyle Busch, William Byron, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Austin Dillon, Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin, Kevin Harvick, who is running a 29 car, which is really cool, Eric Jones, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, Joey Logano, Tyler Reddick, Daniel Suarez, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Martin Truex Jr., and Bubba Wallace. And then the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will race on Friday night at North Wilkesboro. So they are doing a doubleheader with the Cup and the All-Star race. Honestly, it would be really cool for them to not have the truck race be a points-paying race and have an all-star race for the truck series. I don't see how that could be that would be something really, really cool, and I think the fans would enjoy it. I mean, you look at the why not? Try something cool, try something different. I mean, the history, I think it'd be cool. I mean, you bring back the veterans like Mike Skinner, Jack Sprague, well, obviously not Rick Crawford because he's in jail. But some of these veterans and just have fun with it. I mean, that'd be really cool to have a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series all-star race, especially with Craftsman coming back. Craftsman has so much history with NASCAR and the Truck Series. They were mainly the first title sponsor of the Craftsman Truck Series. Then it became Camping Rolling after this year they came back. Now, let's review Richmond, which honestly, that was incredible. That was probably the best Richmond race I have seen probably in about 3 or 4 years. There was passing, there was just, it was fun to watch. It was entertaining. And NASCAR really hit out of the park with this particular short track package because it's true test and Phoenix was excellent. So NASCAR really hit out of the park with this. So now the Also, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Sundrop will team up for a multi-year partnership. And also, I want to allude something. I know. People say, "Oh, this is so." The Hendrick Cars.com paint scheme is something special, and every time I see it win, I get emotional. And it's not. I got emotional when Kyle Larson took the checkered flag this past week because of the unfortunate circumstance. As a lot of people know, several people, including Rick Hendrick's son, was killed in a plane crash. And Kyle Larson won on what would have been Ricky Hendrick's 43rd birthday. And every time I see that car on track, like Mike Joy said, I get emotional. So I want to allude that, honestly. And yes, I mean, it just, who knows what Ricky Hendrick could have been to Hendrick. They could have become a dynasty. We could have seen Jeff Gordon maybe win 7 championships and Jimmy Johnson. I mean, it's hard to say, hard to figure. And it's a big what if. I can tell you that. Okay, so now we're getting to also Chandler Smith got his first career NASCAR Xfinity Series win at Richmond. He held off John Hunter Nemechek on the final restart with 6 laps remaining to win the Toyota KR250. And then Stefan Parsons competed for SS Greenlight Racing at Richmond. And then this was kind of funny. I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks ago what Josh Williams did, but Park Guidance Systems is sponsoring the DGM racing cars of Josh Williams and Alex Labbe. Also, the Big Machine Racing team owner, Scott Bruschetta, was hospitalized after wrecking at Road Atlanta. And then Chris Hacker made his NASCAR Xfinity Series debut. He did pretty good for his first race. And then this is unfortunate for Kyle Weatherman. He was supposed to drive the FRS racing car at Richmond. Unfortunately, it got rained out, and he DNQ'd, so that was unfortunate. Also, Chase Briscoe will be in the number 22 AM Racing on dirt. And then Tanner Carrick will make his Truck Series debut with On Point Motorsports. Also, Jonathan Davenport will race for Spire Motorsports. He's also, I believe, racing in the Cup Series for Cullig Racing. And then there was a very scary accident involving Dean Thompson. He was transported to a local hospital. Thankfully, he was treated and released. So yeah, he was hit up, I would say about 2 or 3 times before finally coming to a halt. I mean, his car went head on into the wall. And also another thing that was pretty funny, and I kind of laughed at it, was on Twitter, because Christopher Bell kind of blamed Ross Chastain for for getting into him or whatever. And then NASCAR Twitter just had a field day with it. I had some fun with it. Um, I joked that the bump and run that Jeremy Mayfield did, the Dale Earnhardt, was actually Ross Chastain's fault. So yeah, I had some fun with it too. So it was kind of funny, to be honest. How was funny? Oh, sorry about that. So yeah, I had to mention that. And it's the Weather Guard Truck Race. Kind of a neat name for a dirt track race. We also have in the 66 of Thor Sport, the 66 of Thor Sport of Joey Logano. And then Jerry Bowman in GTG Racing, and Andrew Gordon. And then the number 1 car is to be announced, but it looks like it was withdrawn. So the number 1 car was withdrawn from the entry list. Also, William Byron is returning to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series for Kyle Busch Motorsports. And then Jessica Friesen is driving the AIM Autism. Now, this is kind of cool because honestly, I'm on the spectrum, and I know it's a lot of friends that are. There's a few people in the NASCAR community that are also on the autism spectrum, and it is Autism Awareness Month. So I'm saying it's kind of, and last month was MS Awareness Month, and that was special because my dad has multiple sclerosis. So these 2 months are kind of important, and the AIM Autism car is probably one of my favorites, and it's kind of a cool car. So hopefully they will really get it going, and hopefully she can make the race. That would be really cool. And then also the 44 of Nice Motorsports, they have withdrawn as well. And I might pronounce this wrong. Tanner Karek. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. CBC Concrete Toyota. Jake Garcia doesn't have a sponsor yet. And then both Gray brothers are in the race. Christian Eckes. And then Corey Heim driving for Tricon Garage. And Jonathan is it Jonathan Davenport that's in the 13? I believe, yeah, he is. Okay, so Jonathan Davenport is pulling double duty. He will be in the number 7 for Spire Motorsports in the trucks, and then in number 13 for Colleague Racing. And then Colby Howard has the Project Hope Foundation, which is kind of a neat one too. And Dean Thompson has been cleared to race, so that's a good thing. That was a very scary accident. So okay, also, Wyndham Rewards will be sponsoring the number 43 at Bristol. And then the cool paint scheme that I really want, and I really, really love it, is the Bush. It's Brake for Bush, and it has like a bunch of dirt. There's snow on it, a bunch of bubbles, and then a yummy emoji. Really looks cool. I'm hoping they continue that tradition if they go to Ross Chastain, because that would look really, really cool. And I really love the creativity on it. I mean, I probably my favorite paint schemes of all mostly are the Busch cars, because they have so much character to them. Then you have the Busch 401k. I mean, yeah, they're outstanding. Then you have the Busch Light. So yeah, they're really, really neat cars. And then sorry, I'm trying to figure out if we have any other. Okay, so Autodesk was featured. Okay, that's past. Sorry. Let's see here. So yeah, Larry's Hard Lemonade will be on the R Motorsports car. With Kyle Weatherman. So yeah, it's gonna be a really fun weekend, honestly. So the appeals panel has also upheld the racing penalty to Colleague. Now, honestly, I don't agree with this, because they got rid of the penalty for Hendrick, and then upheld it for Colleague. So it kind of makes the appeals panel look like they're playing favorites, which is a bad luck. Which honestly, I think hinted the rule change. Okay. So I guess the 66 of ThorSport is kind of like an all-star car, I would guess. That's what I'm thinking. And then Connor Jones will join for his debut on April 14th in Martinsville, followed by North Wilkesboro, Worldwide Technology, Raceway, Mid-Ohio, Richmond, Indianapolis, the Milwaukee Mile, Bristol, and Phoenix. Okay, so Tyler Carpenter will drive the number 41 of Nice Motorsports. Also, I want to allude, what in the world is going on with Nice? Because, I mean, Wallace Allen just, I don't know, it's like he'd fallen off a cliff, kind of. I mean, yeah, you have Carson Hocevar, who was very competitive. And then Nick Sanchez, who was battling for the lead at Atlanta a couple weeks ago. Everyone put the blame, I don't remember who it was, put the blame on, I think it was Chase Purdy. Okay, so we are going to do something else fun. We are doing a paint scheme funny. So you have the Advent Health of Ross Chastain, and I kind of like the detail of the... Yes, we are going to critique paint schemes, so bear with me. I kind of like the detail of the watermelon on the bottom there. It looks kind of cool. Then obviously Discount Tire, which is nothing special. Breezy, which is a... sorry if I mispronounced it. And the brake for Ford Busch I mentioned. Kids Hawaiian, I might be a little biased by this because it's an orange paint scheme, but I don't care. Probably my favorite of Brad Keselowski's. Then you have the Corey LaJoie Nations Guard, and this is my second favorite paint scheme, the Cheddar's car of Kyle Busch. So, and Josh Berry driving the 9, and then the Smithfield Ford of the Smithfield Bandit. The reason I call it that is it kind of reminds me of the Skull Bandit cars from like the early 90s. I mean, they had the black and the gold and the white. That's what it kind of reminds me of. That's why I call it the Smithfield Bandit. So, and you have Denny Hamlin's FedEx car, Ryan Blaney and Mate in the Menards, and then Jonathan Davenport, who will make his debut, and then a Magical Planner Vacation Ford. This one is really, really neat. In fact, let me see if I can pull it up. I can show you. So yeah, it's kind of like a bunch of pictures and really cool paint scheme. Then you have the public square, which I don't know. And then we have something really, really fun. The Battle of the Detergents are back, baby. So you have AJ Allmendinger in the Gain Chevrolet. And Dax Imogen, Auto Owners Insurance. And then it's kind of a cool one. It's McDonald's and Dr. Pepper all in one, which is really cool. Then you have the Raptor Tough Car. And then you have Justin Haley in the Tide Chevy. Now, I want to ask you guys this. So, what are you? Are you guys Team Tide or Team Gain? Put it in the comments. And you have the Loves. And a better rendering of the Speedy Cash car. Just find a black and the slime green. I'm sorry, this paint scheme is probably one of my least favorites. It just looks, it's so ugly. And then you have the Sunseeker Resort and then Club Wyndham of Eric Jones. I really, really love this car. Then Tyler Reddick in the Series XM. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. The number 47 team has really stepped up their paint schemes this year. I mean, this is incredible. Kind of looks like a soap wiping through. I mean, it looks really, really neat. Then we have the debut of the nighttime Ally car. That is going to look so cool under the lights and dirty. I really hope Lionel makes a race version of this because it would look so incredible. Then you have the Bioheaven car, and then you have the Interstate Batteries car. This is always one of my favorites. The green, the Lightning. Well, I think I'm a little biased by that because the name of our podcast is Lightning Racing. Then you have the Ferris Tractors car, Ty Dillon, and then Jockey for Daniel Suarez. And then this is kind of a cool thing. RightCars.com. And then you have the Bama Buggies car of Chase Purdy, Dean Thompson, and then Jonathan Davenport. And then the Safelight car of Corey Heim, Tanner Gray in the Mobile One, Taylor Gray in the JBL car, which bias here a little because my favorite color is orange. And you have Christian Eckes. Okay, I did not see this. This is really neat. The attention to detail. This might be my favorite truck paint scheme out of the entire weekend. You have poker chips. You have what looks like a jack, a queen, and a king. Really, really a cool paint scheme. And I'm hoping it gets offered as a diecast. Then you have the Champion Power Equipment, Wendell Scott, Loves and Speedco of Zane Smith. And then the Race to Stop Suicide car of Daniel Dye. And then William Byron in the HendrickCars.com Chevy. I do have to say, I mean, many people absolutely hate the Bristol Dirt Race. I have to say, it's fun to watch. I mean, you think about it, yes, the first one was a disaster. But last year was pretty fun. And it's Bristol. I mean, you have several other cars So yeah, we have that. Okay, so now let's go. Okay, so now we get into the track analysis. So this is something we are doing tonight. So yeah, this is something you're doing this time. Here is your track analysis. So basically, what this is a half-mile dirt oval, Goodyear Eagle 18-inch dirt rattle, and then set limits are 4 for the event. So that's your track analysis. Now, something that's going to be in this race and the truck race are what are called dirt ridders, kind of like you have in the on the road courses with the road course ridders. So there will be some drivers that have a dirt racing background in this field. So you have, yeah, Jonathan Davenport. And then in the truck series, there's a few of them. So you have that. Okay, so I'm just making sure you didn't miss anything. Okay, so I did forget to say the the penalties of Chase of William Byron, or no, it wasn't William Byron. I think it was William Byron and Alex Bowman. Yeah, it was. Okay. They were issued L1 penalties, so okay. Yeah, so they were issued L1 penalties. And then Jeff Stroff and Ronald Wilson were both indefinitely suspended from NASCAR for behavioral penalties. So yeah. And I don't think that was mentioned at all. Yeah, okay, Jeff Stroff and Ronald Wilson, sections 4.1 and 10.1A for behavioral penalties. Overall assembled vehicle world's engineer and changelog greenhouse. Okay, so I did say what exactly it is. It's the okay. So greenhouse upper dash flange can be timed within a is shaded area for windshield wiper motor package. Okay, so that is what that is, and I explained it again for you guys. So that's what the penalty was for. It looks like. Now I'm gonna say, honestly, I don't know. I mean, the inconsistency, and then Denny Hamlin go, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to wreck the guy." Basically, reminds me of the story of the boy who cried wolf. He did it so many times that after a while, nobody believed him. No one. And I'm kind of getting that vibe with Denny Hamlin because it seems like every week he wrecks somebody. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it just. And then he goes on his podcast and goes, "Well, I didn't mean to wreck the guy." I mean, honestly, how do you expect people to believe you when you do it all the time? I mean, he's done it. He did it to Ross Chastain. He did it to J.J. Yeley. And J.J. Yeley was mad, and I don't blame him. He was mad. I don't blame him one bit. So, yeah, I mean, you have to kind of allude to it. I know one thing I like to do once in a while is play with my cars. I don't know why. But, anyway, so yeah, and it's the same thing with Hendrick. I mean, you really think Hendrick would have learned their lesson when they got caught the first time? But apparently not. I'm not being biased towards Hendrick or a Hendrick hater. It just, I really don't know what to say. Because, I mean, you could say, oh, Hendrick cheated. Yeah, they did. They did cheat. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They cheated, they bended the rules, and they got caught. Now, I know, like some of you are saying, well, that's been part of NASCAR. Yeah, it has. I know Junior Johnson used to bend the rules all the time. I mean, it's part of history. It's how NASCAR is founded. I mean, yeah. Smokey Yunick was probably one of the greatest NASCAR engineers of all time. He bent the rules. So every single car owner at some point has bended the rules, and it's not just the sanctioning body that bends the rules. It's several other things. It's a lot of car owners do to try and get the best out of their cars. Now, I don't remember who exactly said it, but being cheated until you get caught. I tried looking it up, and it just came up with football. So I don't exactly know who said it. But yeah. So yeah, you're basically, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I kind of get in NASCAR issue the penalty because they did break the rules. And NASCAR made it specifically clear that you are not allowed to modify the parts. And Hendrick did it again. So, honestly, if you cheat, you should pay the consequences. I'm not just saying that because I'm a hater of Hendrick. You break the rules, you pay the consequences. That's it. It doesn't matter whether you're Hendrick or Colleague or some Joe Schmo trying to make his way into NASCAR. You break the rules, you pay the consequences. That's it. No questions asked. And that's how it should be. I mean, you can sit here and argue all you want. Oh, yeah, I'm a Hendrick hater. I'm this, I'm that. No. Okay, so we are going to end the Lightning Racing Podcast tonight. Rising country star Parker McKillum will headline the pre-race concert in Nashville. And then so we have also, this is something cool. So NASCAR is launching a new marketing campaign in conjunction with one of its premier partners, Geico. And it kicked off during the Cup Series race at COTA and showcases some of the legendary tracks, drivers, and fans in the sport. Now, one thing that was and it was during Black History Month during the pre-race. Black Flags Matter, David or Darian Gilliam was asked about being like a black car owner or fan in the sport. And it was kind of a neat piece. And I really give them credit for it. It was really cool. Okay, and then the campaign will come to exciting conclusion during the Geico 500 at Talladega Superspeedway with the launch of the sweepstake offering the fans the chance to be the honorary starter of a legendary VIP experience of their own at the 2024 Geico 500 at Talladega. You don't go backwards from beaches to become the number one sport in America without assessing plenty of legendary figures and memories along the way, said Peter John, Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer of NASCAR. Throughout its runs, NASCAR Legends presented by Geico will be anchored by originally social and digital content produced by NASCAR studios, including photo memories, untold stories, NASCAR classics, and NASCAR Rewind. Geico will incorporate their campaign in their own on-track activations as well. So really a cool piece that NASCAR is putting together. So one thing that was really cool, and I'm actually gonna I did not know this, and this is the first time. I don't even know if anybody else knew this. Billy Venturini had an all-woman crew chief, or all-woman pit crew, when he won the 1987 ARCA Series Championship. And now, okay, so we have had 4 African American drivers in the sport. And the first one was Ellis Bowie. We've also had Bill Lester. We had Bubba Wallace. There's Roger Carruth. So yeah, we have that. Then we also have so we are okay, so yeah, I'm just checking some other stuff. But yeah, so we basically have that. Now for the last part of this podcast, my picks to win. I'm going to say in the truck series, I'm going to go with Chase Briscoe, I think. And then as a dark horse, I'm going to go with the 7 of Jonathan Davenport. And then for the Cup Series, I think I'm going to pick Christopher Bell. And then as a dark horse, I'm going to go with Josh Berry, I think. Because of his second place finish last week, sorry. Now, the other thing I am going to start watching IndyCar, because some IndyCar is pretty fun. So, we're not going to preview it this week, because there is no IndyCar racing. I don't think there's an F1 race either, so we will stop there. And this has been Lightning Racing, signing off.